Hello, and welcome to my presentation on reinforced double entry doors. What we're going to be talking about today are the benefits of having double entry doors, the anatomy to include hardware and material of these doors, the hazards faced by having double entry doors, and ways to mitigate these hazards through reinforcement. We're also going to talk about the associated cost and timeline for reinforcing these doors. So first we're going to look at the benefits. I've had double entry doors in my house for an extremely long time, and I'm a huge advocate for having the wider access to the home, which I believe is the number one benefit. When you're moving, let's just say a refrigerator, for example, in and out of the home, if you have a standard 36-inch door, the refrigerator might be too wide. There are times maybe you have to take the standard 36 door off its hinge simply just to get it, the new piece in, the old piece out. So having the wider access is super convenient. You can just open both of those doors and bring in and out whatever it is that you need. It could be an appliance or it could be a piece of furniture. Perhaps you're moving in a new couch and taking out an old couch. But the convenience is amazing. Also, and just another note, if you want to get fresh air into the house, because it's such a wide opening, you open both doors and you'll get a great gust of fresh air into the home. So the other thing is the curb appeal. They really create a grand entrance on the front of the house, and you can multiply that effect by fitting them with glass inserts or even wrought iron to really, bring out that grand effect. Let's talk a little bit about now the anatomy of these doors. So it breaks down into two basic components. You have an active door, which is the door you're using on a day-to-day basis that's really doing all the opening and closing. And the inactive door, which is typically on the left, that really remains stationary unless you're moving something in and out or you just want to open both doors. Other notable parts are the sill, which is the bottom threshold of the door here, glazing, which could be a component of your double entry door, which would be glass. Another really important part is the T-molding that lines the center of this door. And what it does is it's actually fastened to the inactive door here on the left, and the active door gets caught so it won't open too far in the wrong direction. So this is kind of what holds it in place. And this particular door also has wrought iron as part of its decorative effect. A little more on the anatomy. We have the latch here, which is typically what you're going to see on a double entry door. Some people will use a knob or a pull, but typically you're going to see a latch for that really grand entrance. The deadbolt, which is the main item for securing the doors together and locking them. They're also going to have hinges, which create the open and closing motion of these doors. And the sweep at the bottom, which prevents unwanted hot or cold air from entering the dwelling. Now, the hazards these doors face are really wind pressure and debris collision. And these can be caused from tornadoes, hurricanes, windstorms. Now, doors and windows really being the weakest points in the building envelope, we want to make sure that these are reinforced and protected from these hazards. When it comes to the double entry doors, what I've noticed from having them in my home is that the center where the two doors actually meet is without a doubt, the weakest point in this system. With just a little bit of pressure, you can break both of these doors open if there's no reinforcement on them. So the center point is definitely the weakest point. And also, if this door does fail, you're risking a lot of damage to the inside of the house. The wind gusting inside the dwelling can cause structural damage, and the associated rain and wind can also damage a lot of personal property. So we're going to now talk about the reinforcement methods. As you see in the graphic on the left, this is ideally not how you want to reinforce double entry doors. We want to do something a little more aesthetic, not simply board up for an end of the world case scenario here. And the way we're going to accomplish that is using longer screws at the hinges, replacing the deadbolt with a heavy duty deadbolt, and using slide bolts at the top and bottom of the inactive door. Now, using longer screws at the hinges is so simple. Any homeowner can do it. You're simply pulling one screw out at a time, one of these 1 1/4 inch screws, and replacing it with a 3-inch screw. This will take about 15 minutes, will cost under $20, and can easily be done by the homeowner with a screwdriver or a drill. The next method for reinforcing the double entry door is using a heavy-duty deadbolt. Now, most of these deadbolts can be acquired for under $100, and replacing can take as little as 20 minutes, if not under. And again, all you're really going to need here is a screwdriver or a drill to accomplish this. And by doing that, that deadbolt is going to fortify that weakest point, that center point of the door. Now, slide bolts are probably the best way to reinforce this door. I have them on my French doors. You can mount them internally and chisel them out, which will take a little more time. You'll need a tape measure, a chisel, or you can mount them externally on the side and have them, bolt down into the floor and into the top of the door jamb. So this will hold that inactive door in place, so it's almost like a wall partition when your deadbolt locks in. So this will be really, really secure when it's done. And this can be done for under $100. So to conclude, you really have a lot of different methods that are inexpensive and simple to do for reinforcing double entry doors. And these methods will not sacrifice the look, but will keep your home protected during a significant wind event, which will avoid damage to your structure and loss to your personal property. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my presentation.